I think pretty much all of you will certainly agree that Snow White 2024 has been a disaster on all fronts when it comes to everything happening behind closed doors, to what Bob Iger has been talking about the film, to what Rachel Zegler has been doing on social media, and how everything happening with the Seven Dwarfs and how that's creating a lot of drama for not just Disney, but also for the fans that grew up with all of the Snow White stories and iterations. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. And let's get right into what's really going on now with Snow White 2024. Now we know that the board and Bob Iger are heading into major damage control, both publicly and behind the closed doors, of course, for Snow White and everything happening with the most recent emergency meetings taking place over at Disney related to not just Snow White, by the way, but also for how the Marvels is going to be promoted through its marketing plan and strategy for the next couple of months. But on top of this, Snow White is going through a very rough patch right now because there's people out there like, of course, across Hollywood, a lot of celebrities are speaking up. They're going against Bob Iger. They're going against Disney and what they are doing with this latest installment of a remake by Disney. Now, on top of this, what's really surprising is exactly what is brewing behind closed doors as a major form of damage control for Snow White 2024 and their very poor way of an attempt to fix the movie. Let's get into this. Now, on top of that, with Disney dealing with endless backlash for the Snow White film after the leaked photographs surfaced of the Seven Dwarfs, one major development surrounding the film has to do with Disney. However, Disney recently progressed with yet another emergency meeting related to the upcoming Snow White film and the Marvels, focusing more so on Snow White, however. They are now reportedly pre-planning to re-edit the entire film from scratch, with rewrites and reshoots on the table only if the writer's strike and everything happening with SAG come to a close before November. Specifically, what will be reshot if they do reach that point is a big mystery, however. This has been discussed between the board and Iger on fine-tuning the film through reshoots and rewrites. However, the majority of the board are unwilling to delay this movie, which would make it nearly impossible. However, new developments out of the recent emergency meeting for Snow White and their upcoming films is that they are also looking to shorten the Snow White movie by cutting out 20 whole minutes of footage and rearranging all of the scenes to course correct the flow of the film and fan engagement, as recent test screenings have been very much failing terribly, sparking very low confidence in the film by Disney regardless of the backlash with the leaked photographs of the Seven Dwarfs. So guys, let me just stop here quick. The problem with this is that this isn't really fixing anything. You can rearrange all the scenes that you want, you can cut out as many scenes as you want, you're still gonna have the Seven Dwarfs in there, or the seven magical creatures that Disney is reportedly calling them, and you're going to have Rachel Zegler as Snow White. There's nothing else that's going to fix that. No amount of cutting out scenes or rearranging specific segments is really going to be a remedy for them. And when you look at it in this way, the fact that reshoots and rewrites are on the table only if the strikes come to a close by this November, giving them just enough time to make some form of advancements to the overall story. Now, exactly what kind of reshoots would they even pursue? Like I said before, that is a big mystery. I highly doubt they would recast Rachel Zegler. I highly doubt that they would go that far by, swapping out the actress who plays Snow White, because they want to stay with that March of 2024 release date window for a specific reason. If they delay that movie, it creates a domino effect for other films, and they don't want to do that. And if they have to come to that point, well, they're going to have to come to that point, but I don't really see them delaying this movie. We'll have to wait and see, though. On top of this, though, alright, I digress here. Let's move along further. The re-editing of the film is said to be hitting a standstill, with Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler raising concerns over their hard-worked scenes getting cut from the film and more. Disney is also looking to cut out more scenes related to the Seven Dwarfs, limiting the amount of footage, and that they were reportedly overused in this film, and Disney is now looking to keep that down to a lower amount of screen time to save the backlash. The entire film is also going to be color corrected to give the film a lighter tone than its darker and bleak picture to younger audiences engaged from the original, of course, style. The major revisions for this film by Disney in response to the backlash will also hold and have much to do with of course, previously shot footage that was never used back in 2022 to fit into the story for Snow White's origin story to be explored, but being fully, of course, adapted into the first act. The plan for reshoots and rewrites, of course, part of this emergency meeting, will only kickstart, like I said before, if the strikes end, of course, in the next few months by this November. Now, the problem coming out of this, and one thing I will put at the forefront here, is that nothing that you do with editing a movie, color correcting it, limiting the amount of footage of the Seven Dwarfs, it's not gonna fix anything. Now, these Seven Dwarfs, by the way, you can't even really call them that because they're not just that, you know, they're totally different. But Disney really has no clue what they're doing. They are really going into this panic mode where they're like, okay, what do we do? Let's take out 20 minutes of footage, let's rearrange the whole movie, let's add in some of the other footage that we had shot back in 22 and put it into that film to kind of make it work out. And again, we discussed this some time ago, that they wrapped filming of Snow White back in July of 22. Ever since then, there's been a lot of back and forths with this movie. It's been a very big obstacle, regardless of those leaked photographs. They've been dealing with a lot of problems with this movie for a very long while. You know, here we are, it's almost a year later, pretty much a year later, actually, on the day of, almost, when they wrapped filming back in July of 22, and it's not coming out till March. So that's a very big gap between filming and editing this film and really getting it all set up. So when you look at it in this way too, Rachel and Gal are against them revising this movie. And I think that, you know, at the end of the day, the fact that they're connected to this film, it's going to carry on with them forever. Maybe not so much for Gal, because she's got a wide enough audience to the point where this might blow over for her. Just maybe. Rachel, though, who is more of an unknown, she only starred in a major film, such as, you know, for example, Shazam, Fury of the Gods. She was in there. That was really her big movie. Besides that, you know, that's really going to be her legacy. 2 major flops. You know, when we look at that movie, Shazam, that flopped at the box office for various reasons, and this is going to flop at the box office for various reasons as well. So I feel bad for the actress. It's not her fault, really, but she's also a person on social media, let's face it, that is getting very much on the heated exchange of things against the people raising their opinions about their overall take on the Seven Dwarfs and, you know, casting her as Snow White. So look, I mean, she should really kind of keep to herself a little bit. But anyway, guys, I would love to hear your take on this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. And I will catch you guys next time.
Night to moon, we hear them moans again.